CrewAI, an agent framework where multiple AI minds collaborate, debate, and reason, just like a real legal team. In this tutorial, I'll show you how I built this entire AI lawyer system from scratch. Three agents, three roles, one mission, uncover the truth. Welcome to the future of intelligence. Welcome to CrewAI. So to create this application, which we'll call as Justicecrew, we'll have three CrewAI agent. One will be a judge agent, one will be a defense lawyer agent, and one will be a prosecution lawyer agent. There will be an accused, say we call him Mr. Parker. So just an imaginary case we can build. So Mr. Parker is convicted of some crime, and then these three agents who will act as two will act as a lawyer and one will act as a judge, then they will fight the case. So prosecution lawyer will fight the case against the accused, trying to prove that the accused is actually the accused, he is not innocent, while the defense lawyer will try to prove him not guilty. Okay, so before you create this application, you need to do some installation. So we'll use CrewAI's CLI approach. So for that, you should have UV installed. If not, then please install UV. And then from UV, you can just run this command from your terminal, in fact. So if you go to this site, this documentation of CrewAI.com, you'll get all this installation process. So I'm skipping this process because I already have UV installed. If you don't have UV installed, then please refer to this documentation. I'll provide the link. So first you say UV tool install CrewAI, which I have already done. And if you want to confirm whether CrewAI is installed or not, just run this command UV tool list. So I'll open my VS Code and I will just run UV tool list. So it shows me CrewAI version 1.6.0. That means it is already installed. Then you can create your create your CrewAI project. And if you want to upgrade, you can use this command to upgrade. Okay, so to create a CrewAI project, you can use the CrewAI CLI command. So I will say CrewAI create crew and give some name. So CrewAI create crew. Let us give it a name as say verdict AI or whatever we call it. Whatever we have called it in the title. So we have given the title Justicecrew. So let me call it Justicecrew. Yeah. And you have to wait for some time. It will create your project. Okay. So it will ask you which LLM you want to use. Okay. So you can choose any from this list. Okay. So I'll be using Gemini. So if you are using OpenAI, go with option 1. Anthropic, go with option 2, and so on. I'll be using Gemini, so I'll say 3. Okay, then it further asks you which model of Gemini you want to use. So go with whatever you choose. So let me choose something suitable. Say I will say Gemini to Flash 001. Let me choose this, that is option 5. But you are free to choose your own option. That's it. And then you have to enter your Gemini API key. Okay. So my key is secret. So I'll not be recording that. I'll just paste my key over here. So right now let me just place some placeholder, say A, B, C, D, E, F. I'll replace it with my key, but I would suggest you paste your key over here. That's it. And your project is ready. Now, you can, if you just list this You'll see that though it's a long list, if I say less, I've got lots of project over here, but you'll see that your project has come over here as a has been created over here as a folder. So you have to move inside that folder, and that should be Justice Crew. Justice Crew is what we have given it the name, right? So let's check for it. If we find, yeah, so this is it, right? Justice Crew. So I will say, let me maximize it. I'll say CD Justice Crew, and there we are. You can also open the folder uh, from your VS Code. So that way also you can move to that code base. So I'll search for Justice Crew. So this way also you can just select your folder, and there we go. So you see this is the project structure that has been created by the CrewAI CLI. So if we go through it, you see inside this src slash justice crew, we have configs. So we have YAML files. One is for agents and one is for the tasks. So by default, it creates senior data researcher agent and reporting analyst agent, but it will be replacing it. And we'll add more agent over here. So we'll have this defense lawyer agent, prosecutor agent, and the judge agent. And then we can define the task in this YAML file. So this is one way of implementing CrewAI. You can implement it without YAML also, purely writing it in Python code. So we'll go with this approach only, whatever project structure that has been injected by the CLI. And then you have tools. So in case if any tools required, then you can have your custom tools over here. Okay, and then finally you have crew.py, okay, where you define all the agents, and these agents are the same that you have defined in the agents.yaml file. Make sure that the name matches the spelling. There is no spelling mistake. Like if you're named as researcher and reporting analyst, it should be the same spelling in agents YAML. Okay, like see researcher and reporting analyst. Okay, then task also we are defining in task.yaml, and it is getting referred over here within this task decorator, just like we had agent decorator. And then we'll create a crew. Okay, and this crew will contain the agents, the tasks, process, and if you want the verbose to be, if you want all the verbose while it is getting processed, then you can say verbose is equal to true. So basically this is the workflow for a crew, as you already know. And then finally we have a main.py file, and from here we'll have all the payload data, the input data, and we will run the crew. So to run the crew, we use this command, we use this method, kickoff method, crew.kickoff. So justice crew.crew.kickoff. Okay, so yeah, we will start modifying this code, refactoring this code to achieve our intelligent system, which is this. So let's dive in. Whatever keys you have put for the LLM, like in my case, I am using the Gemini LLM. So since I've just used some placeholder ABCD, so you'll get it over here in the .env file. So if I click on .env file, you can see those keys coming over here. So replace it with your actual keys. That is what I'm going to do now, but I won't be recording it, and use the model name that you prefer. We come to agents.yaml file. So here I have got the name of the agent which came here by default through the CLI, as you saw. So I'll change it. So I'll call it over here as a prosecutor. This will be prosecutor, and this will be say defense lawyer or defense attorney, as it is suggesting, but I'll call it a defense lawyer, prosecutor, and one more we'll create, which will be a judge. So here you have to mention role, goal, and backstory. So role is what will be the role of the agent. So here its role will be a prosecutor prosecutor for criminal cases. As simple as that. You can put more details, like the more the detail, more the context, and what will be the goal. Okay, so goal of this prosecutor would be to, yeah, to build a strong case against defendants by gathering evidence, interviewing witness, and compelling. I'll just go with whatever is being suggested, but you can make it up. And backstory. Okay, so backstory is more like a persona. Okay, so goal is like a, what is the task it has to achieve, what task it has to do, and backstory is more like a persona. So here you can write, you are a dedicated prosecutor for justice. So you have years of experience in the courtroom and deep understanding of criminal law. That's it. Let's keep it simple. So same way for defense lawyer, we'll mention the role as a defense lawyer for criminal cases, and goal, we'll mention it as to provide the best possible defense for your client by investigating the case thoroughly, challenging evidence, and advocating for their rights. Okay. So I can go with the suggestion, not a problem. Here I will write for the accused instead of clients, for the accused. Okay. Then backstory, same way I have to set up a persona here. So it will be, you are a skilled defense lawyer committed to ensuring that every individual receives a fair trial. You have a reputation for being meticulous. Yeah, so I'll leave it till here. And that's it. So we need one more, that is the judge. So, so instead of defense lawyer, it will be the justice or the judge. Okay, so this is the judge agent. So its role will be criminal cases, a judge presiding over criminal cases. Then the goal will set. So the goal is to ensure that trials are conducted fairly and impartially, making rulings based on the evidence presented and the law. And the persona we have to set. You are an experienced judge known for your wisdom and fairness. You have a deep understanding of the legal principles and a commitment to upholding justice in the courtroom. I'm just going with whatever is being suggested out here, but please do write more details and try to make it more improvised. Okay. So three agents I have taken. So one agent is prosecutor, one is a defense lawyer, and one is a judge. Now we go to task. So I've already defined task over here to save time because typing takes a lot of time. So I've typed and then I'm recording it so that we save time. So here you see in the task.yaml, since we will be proceeding it in sequence, like there are two ways, like I can process the flow in sequence or in hierarchical. So here we will follow the sequence method. So whatever sequence we have provided the task, it will get executed in the same sequence. So first I've given the name of the task as opening permission, and the description, the judge grants permission to the prosecutor to deliver their opening statement. And what will be the expected output? So there will be a description of the task, there will be expected output, a formal judicial permission statement allowing the prosecutor to proceed. And who will be the agent for responsible for this task? Is the judge. And so on. Then we will have an opening prosecution and its description, and this will be performed by the agent, the prosecutor agent. So deliver a powerful opening statement as the prosecutor, outlining the case against Mr. Parker and what the evidence will show. And output will be a compelling 4 to 6 paragraph opening statement from the prosecution. Okay. And so on. Then for the defense lawyer, so prosecutor, defense lawyer, then again the prosecutor, and so on. Then defense lawyer, then again defense lawyer. repeating. So again prosecutor, and finally the judge will give the final verdict. Okay, so this way we can form the task in sequence, and we can just check that whatever is the spelling of the agent that matches. Now we come to crew.py, where we'll bind these things together. So in crew.py, if you see, we have used one class called Justicecrew. Okay, so this is the base crew. This is the instance of the base crew. This is extended from the base crew class. You can see. Okay, and we have this all those agents over here. This agent decorator will actually be conferring those agent: prosecutor, defense lawyer, and judge. So we are creating an instance of those agents over here. Verbose true. We want to keep it true so that we can have the verbose printed. We can have all those whatever conversation is going on that can get printed, and allow delegation false. We can put this in the YAML also if you want, instead of putting it over here. So these were the agents, and then task you see exactly in the same sequence. Like task over here, we can define it, but it is whatever sequence we have given over here, we can even change it over here because this is the sequence it will follow from here. If we override this sequence, you put this on the top, this here, they will follow that sequence. So first, but here I've kept it as it is, like in the same sequence I've created it over here. But here, whatever sequence you put, that is what it will follow. It will override. So not override, I'll say it will follow that sequence exactly as we have placed it over here. And here you can define it in any sequence. Okay. So these are the list of all the tasks that I have created, and then finally I will define a crew method and return the crew object with these configurations. Self.agents means it will list all the agents, it will list all the tasks, list of all the tasks, and process I am keeping it sequential, not hierarchical, and verbose true. And from main I will run it. Okay, so in the main, so I am using the same file that has been injected, only I am changing, I am just refactoring it to suit my objective. So here you see that in the inputs I have created a case key, and the value is on 12th November night a murder took place in the market area, and the accused is Mr. Parker. Mr. Parker was seen nearby the crime scene, and also there are two witnesses who saw Mr. Parker running away from the scene. However, it is not confirmed if Mr. Parker was running away because he had committed the crime, as Mr. Parker had denied the crime and he said that he was getting late for some task, so he was running. Also, the witness did see Mr. Parker but not sure if he had actually committed the crime. The CCTV cameras also had captured Mr. Parker present in the nearby area just before the crime. Okay, and that's it. And we'll now run it. Now, before running it, let me tell you that you have to install one more library, because I am using Gemini. If you are using any other LLM, so accordingly you have to install that library, which I have forgotten, so that will be there in the history. So for me, I have to install this CrewAI Google GenAI. So I'll just say UV add CrewAI Google hyphen GenAI. I already installed it, so I will not reinstall it. So actually, I forgotten to mention it. That's why I'm mentioning it over here. So before running it, you have to say CrewAI install, so that it installs all the dependencies. So dependencies were all installed from before, so that's why it is saying resolved, because I already run it once. But you'll see if you are installing for the first time, you'll see that it will show you whatever libraries are getting installed. Okay, and now I will say crew AI run, and since I have said verbal is equal to true, so it should start giving me all the outputs. Okay, so pre-execution is started, and we can see, as we can see all those verbose over here, as we have set the verbose to true. And so this process is going on, and you can already see that the agent, the agents are active. Like your defense lawyer for a criminal case, its task is given, agent is started, crew is started now, opening permission, okay, is assigned to this, okay, and then the agent is a defense lawyer for a criminal case. So it is just mentioned is a final answer. So ladies and gentlemen of the jury, good morning. My name is okay. Actually, yeah, you can give some name over here. We have not named the agent. Say in the description, you can say that let the agent be say Mr. Henry or something like that. Whatever name you can give. So it will represent the name over here. And I stand before you today to represent Mr. Parker. The prosecution has painted a picture narrative they hope will convince you of Mr. Parker's guilt. Anyway, I'm not going to read all. It will take a lot of time. So, so this is put by the agent. Okay, so this verbose is by the agent. Okay, and he's mentioning all this proof. So this is a prosecutor agent, in fact. Okay, then next comes another agent. Okay, and so on. We can see like they are conversing with each other. Okay, and it has just made up the witnesses. Miss Emily Carter, eyewitness. Okay, so the prosecutor is again providing all the evidence, but I'm surprised why we don't have anything from the defense lawyer agent. So let's see if it is there. Yeah, defense lawyer task is given, but somehow its narrative has not been logged over here. We'll see why. So, okay. So, if this is the agent for prosecutor. So, only prosecutor is coming. So, maybe something is missing. The verbose for the defense lawyer is not getting printed. So, see all the evidences, witnesses, everything. It has actually made up. You can give more context so that it sticks to the content. So, it has tried to make up this narration. So, a defense lawyer. So, somehow defense lawyers response is not getting printed. It is there, but is not. It is showing that one task after the other. So we'll just check. And finally, yeah, here the defense lawyer's answer is coming. After that is the cross-examination part. I think the verbose needs to be checked over there. So Ms. Carter stated that you're walking your dog in the park across the street from the location of the crime, whatever is the location we provide. And here is the conversation, the full conversation you can see. Okay. And finally, the judge should give the verdict. So again, the defense lawyer's verdict is coming. I don't know why. Maybe our sequence, by mistake, we may have given a wrong sequence. So we have to correct that, and then this will be sorted. And so again, defense lawyer is speaking. So first, then the prosecutor should narration should have come, and then the defense lawyer. But anyway, so we have need to correct the sequence. Maybe our sequence is wrong. So you see how well it is giving the output. And finally, let's scroll down. So prosecutor is again giving his narration. And you can even enhance it by giving text to speech. So you can even hear the speech, and you can even restrict it. It's such a long statement. If you want to make it concise, you can just restrict it. You can mention in the prompt that restricted to so much sentences. Okay, because we have given 4 to 5 paragraphs, so that's why I think it is getting such a huge narration, which is fine. So now the judge presiding over the criminal case. So the narration is here. The case before us, the state versus Parker, concerns charges of armed robbery and aggravated assault. The prosecution has presented a case built on eyewitness testimony and so on. I will not be reading all as it's too lengthy content. And so on. This trial goes on, and finally execution is completed. Okay, so summary it has given. The prosecution's case rests on three main pillars: eyewitness testimony, forensic evidence, victims identification. So since we have given only less context, so rest of the thing it has made up. But if you give more context and ask it to stick to the context, it will just stick to that context. It will not make up so many scenarios. But yes, it's working fine. and finally it ends. So you see how powerful it is. Like you can have you know, a verdict simulated, right? So this kind of application will be helpful to lawyers. They can dry run the case, they can put actual case, they can dry run the case, and they can anticipate what kind of scenario can come in, what point they can put forward, and so on. So it will be a very useful application. And also more enhancement that can be done is, right now we have not given like what country this case has occurred, because law will vary from country to country, right? Say for example, India or US, the law may slightly vary. Okay. So we can even ask it to stick to some particular law. Like say for example, if this case is of India, then I'll say, okay, stick to the Indian penal codes. We can give the whole document as a rag or as a context, you can say, to this whole agentic system, where it is stick to the Indian penal code and just give its verdicts, and all the narrations, all the debate will happen based on in that context of the Indian penal code only. Well, so that was all, and I hope you like this video. And if you need more such videos, do let me know in the comment, and I'll be glad to make more videos and more applications around this generative AI. So thank you very much, and I will also push this code in the GitHub and provide the link in the comment. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.